Welcome. This is a book reading for A Course of Love, written by Mari Perron, first receiver. So before we begin tonight, I'd like to wish all of you a Merry Christmas and may all the blessings of the Christ love that you are fill you to overflowing. And so, shall we begin? We are on, we are on page 295, chapter 3, The True Self. The True Self. And if you're new to this reading, just as a side note, this book was received from Christ Yeshua. And so that is, at this point, who is talking to you. So I read the words that were given to Mari Perron, but actually to all of us in our oneness. The true self, your personal self, is dear to you and dear to me as well. I've always loved you because I have always recognized you. What cannot be recognized or known cannot be loved. While your ego has not been lovable, you have always been. Here is where you need to realize that the personal self that is dear to you is not your ego self and never has been. All of your personal characteristics are nothing more than a persona that is served the ego faithfully. All of your traits have been chosen either in accordance with the ego's desires or in opposition to them. Whether they be in accord or in opposition, their source has still been the ego. These traits, whether you see them as good or bad, or somewhere in between, are what you have seen as making you lovable or unlovable. Yet you have also made them challenges to love, saying in effect to those who love you, love me in spite of these traits that are not lovable, and then I will know your love is true. You make this same statement to yourself as well, seemingly called to continuously challenge your own lovability. As much as you fear disappointment for yourself, and let this fear keep you from much you would desire, you fear as much or more your ability to disappoint others or to let them down. Some of you carefully constructed your lives to leave as little room as possible for disappointment, to affect it or others you hold dear. Some of you have seemed to do the opposite. Despite your best intentions, calling disappointments to yourself and being constantly under the pull of having disappointed others. Still others have always found their lives to be beyond their efforts at control and long ago gave up trying. Most of you fall somewhere in between, living a life full of good intentions and effort, and being surprised neither by what seems to work nor what seems to fail. It is yourself who, more often than not, you blamed for all your misfortune. You would have liked to be strong and capable and hated your own weakness. You would have liked to be even-tempered and hated the moods that seemed to come over you without cause. You did not understand when illness or depression stood in the way of your desires or the plans of others, and let such circumstances fill you with self-loathing. You thus created a society that reflected this hatred of the self, and that functioned on finding blame for every misfortune. Your illnesses became the result of behaviors ranging from smoking to too little exercise. Your accidents caused lawsuits where blame could be rightly placed. Your depression was blamed on the past. Even your successes were often claimed to be at the expense of another, or to have come in spite of failings most severe, while society would seem to have done so much to cause your unhappiness, and while you have in turn blamed it as much as it blamed you, you never blamed anything quite as much as you blamed yourself. This is the vengeful self we eliminate now. You have, in truth, replaced judgment with forgiveness, but you have not yet fully forgiven yourself. This statement may sound incongruous, for how could you have misplaced judgment with forgiveness? Let me start again. Sorry. This statement may sound incongruous. For how could you have replaced judgment with forgiveness and not forgiven yourself? What this means is that you have replaced judgment with forgiveness as a belief. You have put this belief into practice in each instance where you have seen it to be needed. What this means is that you continue to fail to recognize your need to replace judgment with forgiveness when it comes to yourself. You have not yet realized how much you still consider unlovable about yourself. This does not mean that you are not lovable, only that you have not yet fully recognized your true self, capital S. Until you fully recognize yourself, you cannot fully love yourself. I read again. Until you fully recognize yourself, capital S, you cannot fully love yourself. Until you fully love, you do not love in truth. Both God and love are found in relationship where the truth becomes known to you. When the truth becomes known to you, you know God, for you know love. Beliefs, and especially the changed beliefs we have worked together to integrate into your thought system, are only a first step, a step toward holy relationship. These new beliefs are your new thought system. Of your new thought system must be wholehearted. They cannot be beliefs that exist only in your mind. A new philosophy to be applied to life. They must exist in your heart. And how can they exist in the heart of an unlovable self? You cannot think your way to the new life that calls to you. You can only get there by being who you are in truth. I have always loved you, for I have always recognized you. While your recognition of yourself, capital, has come a long way through your learning of this course, yourself is still seen as a stumbling block. You might think that were you able to live in some ideal community, away from all that has brought you to where you are now, you might be able to put the beliefs of this course into practice. If not quite this drastic, your thoughts might tell you that if you were in another job, devoid of certain familiar responsibilities, or the need to provide for financial obligations, you would be much better suited to putting these beliefs into practice. Or you might look at your behaviors, your habits, your general personality, and simply declare yourself unsuitable for further learning. Whether you think such thoughts consciously or not, there is a part of you that still believes you are not good enough to be the good self you believe this course calls you to be. Most of you have now believed you are good enough for days or hours or moments, but something always and eventually calls you back to the idea that you are not good enough, or that you do not want to put the effort into being good enough. Like a person who believes she has a weight problem and knows a diet would be good for her. The diet is often rejected because failure is deemed a certainty. While you continue to see the call of this course as a call to goodness, you will surely fail. The self, capital S, that I recognize as you, capital Y, is not other than who you are, but who you are. All that was ever other than who you are was the ego. The ego is gone. The ego was simply your idea of who you were. This idea was a complex set of judgments of good and bad, right and wrong, worthy and unworthy, a list as endless as it was worthless. Realize now the worthlessness of this idea and let it go. Chapter 4. The Dismantling of Illusion. This is not a self-help course, but just the opposite. This course has stated time and time again that you cannot learn on your own, and that resigning as your own teacher is the only way to learn a new curriculum. This course will not call you to effort of any kind. It will not tell you to leave behind your addictions or to go on a diet or a fast. It will not even tell you to be kind. It does not tell you to be responsible and does not chide your irresponsibility. It does not claim that you were once bad, but that by following these tenets you can become good. It gives no credence and no blame to any past cause for your depression, anxiety, meanness, illness, or insanity. It merely calls you to sanity by calling you to let go of illusion in favor of the truth. The sameness that this course calls you to is not a sameness of body or of habit. It asks not for monks or clones. It asks not that you give up anything but illusion, which is the giving up of nothing. Before we can go on, you must take all such ideas from your mind. Such ideas are not small matters. Ideas are the foundations of the self. You cannot have an idea of goodness without having an idea of evil. You cannot have an idea of an ideal state without having an idea of a state that is not ideal. You cannot have an idea you call right without believing in an idea that can be wrong. The ego made such ideas necessary, for the idea of the ego was wrong or inaccurate. The only way to bring that inaccuracy to light was through contrast. To function from an inaccurate foundation was to build upon that foundation. Building a structure with a foundation that would not support it was the folly that the ego made of life. The only way for such an error to be seen as an error was through its dysfunction. The only way to correct such an error is to dismantle the structure and begin again with a foundation capable of being built upon. this is what we have done. We have taken away the foundation of illusion, the one error that became the basis of all that came after it. You cannot make another error such as this, for it is the one error. Does it make sense that the only error possible is that of not being who you are? You can dismantle the ego and build another in its place. And this has at times been done in the individual with great training, as in military training, or in cases of great abuse, when a second ego personality is developed to save the first. The ego has also been dismantled and rebuilt over time and been seen as the rise and fall of civilizations. But as we have said before, the only replacement that will work is the replacement of illusion with the truth. The very purpose of this treatise is to prevent the replacement of illusion with illusion, or one ego self with another. The training of this course, while gentle in nature, has been great as that of any military training, as great as any emotional trauma that has left one in a state of emptiness. This is, in effect, the state in which you currently find yourself. I repeat, and will not do so again and again, that the ego self is gone from you. Whether you fully realize this or not matters not. This a course of love has accomplished. Now the choice is before you to do one of two things: to proceed toward love or fear. If you proceed with fear, you will assemble a new ego self, an ego self that perhaps will seem superior to the old, but which will nonetheless still be an ego self. If you proceed with love, you will come to know your Christ self. This is a perfect place to pause until the next time that we meet. So I thank you for joining, whether it's your first time or you have been enjoying the videos. You can find them all in a folder under A Course of Love at Kimberly, 8th day. So they're all in a folder there and some other goodies too. So until next time, I truly do thank you and wish you many blessings. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good night.